Hi to all my Jiu-Jitsu brothers and sisters on Facebook. I'm Nick Gradis from Jiu-Jitsu Brotherhood, and I'm here in Cape Town at Renzo Gracie, Cape Town, with my good friend Richard Lowe. And I want to share with you guys probably my favorite guard pass of the last 2 years. It's the thing I've been having the most success with when it comes to passing the guard. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that feeling when you're training against a good guard player, especially someone with very dynamic, very strong hips and big, strong, long legs. It is really, really frustrating. Sometimes you just want to cry because it's so exhausting and difficult to pass their guard. And this guard pass that I'm going to show you now, called the Mermaid pass, is one of the ones that I use. It's my go-to. Whenever a guy's guard is wicked and I'm struggling with it, I go straight to this technique. And I just want to tell you guys a couple of stories about this guard pass, just so you can understand how powerful it is. The guy who taught it to me is a second-degree black belt called Kevin Capel in England. He's one of my main training partners, but I outweigh the guy by like 40 or 50 pounds. So if I really turn it on, I can beat him, even though he's probably even more technical than me. And he passed my guard the first time he showed it to me. He passed my guard 3 or 4 times with this easily. And I thought to myself, okay, I gotta learn this. This thing's cool. And I later heard that he had actually passed Roger Gracie's guard in training a couple of times with it as well. So I really started to think, man, this thing has value, so I wanted to learn it. Then for my own personal experience, Richard is one of those guys whose guard is just hell. He inverts all the time and his legs are like made of rubber, and he's really tough to pass his guard. And it's one of the only ways I could get past his guard was using this. And then there's another guy here in South Africa who's a strong brown belt, young guy, like 22, 23, one of those CrossFit freaks who can walk on his hands for miles and do backflips and just a real athlete. And I was sparring with him and he was just kicking the crap out of me. I had no answer for his guard. And I used this technique. And the interesting thing is I didn't even get it right. I actually messed up one of the steps and I still managed to get past his guard using it. So I know that this technique is very, very powerful and effective. Before I show you guys what it is and how it works, it's called the Mermaid because the basic principle behind it is we're tying up both of his legs into one unit like this so that he kind of looks like a mermaid. So we're going to go over it now, the Mermaid guard pass. So here are the mechanics of the Mermaid guard pass. Let's look at our start position. I want to begin this pass by sitting on one of my opponent's ankles. So I have his leg between both of mine, on my knees, preferably not on the tops of my feet like this, preferably on my toes so that my feet are engaged so I can move forward when I need to drive into him. And I'm going to have my arm around the outside, underneath the knee of the leg I'm sitting on. Keep in mind, guys, you don't want to first sit on his leg and then bring your arm underneath because it can get jammed, especially if you're putting pressure on it. There's no space for your hand to get underneath. So usually you do them both at the same time. You get to here, to this position here. And I don't really care how you get to this position. There's many ways to do it. You'll find your own during training. You just have to get to this position to start doing the Mermaid pass. So once I'm here, the next thing I'm looking to do is his free leg. I want to grab it and stuff it in between my legs as well. The best, or a nice little detail to make this easier on you, is don't grab at his ankle here, grab on his toes, kind of like a toe hold. And as you push down there, that'll weaken his whole leg and make it much easier for you to manipulate it and put it between your legs. Once I have both of his feet between my legs and this arm around the outside, I'm looking to take this first grip here, which is reach across, a 4-finger pocket grip on the bottom of the trousers here. Once I have that grip engaged, I want the same thing on the other side. So this one's going to come underneath and take the same grip on the far side trousers. So now I've tied up both of his legs and he's starting to look like a mermaid because it's starting to create one unit here. So first thing is your start position here. Second thing is stuff that free leg in, and then you set your grips, and now we're ready to really get into the meat of this pass. So from here, what I'm going to do is put both of Richard's knees together, and the way I'm going to do that is by moving backwards, creating some space between my chest and his knees, and straightening my arms. And that seals his knees together. Richard, you can feel it's very difficult for you to prise your knees apart. So now he's basically become the mermaid. And this is the key to this pass, is the guard is his ankles, feet, and knees. That's what his guard is all about. Guard has nothing to do with his upper body, and it's not really even much to do with his pelvis. It's mainly this part of his body. And by using this mermaid technique and using the power of the cloth of his kimono, I've locked down all those, the knees, the ankles, and the feet. They're not going to work for him anymore. So it's going to be easier to pass. So once I'm in this position, I'm going to choose which way I want to pass. I like to pass around to the right using this pass, which means my head needs to go to the opposite side. If I pass right, my head goes on the left. So from here, I've pushed back, his knees are together, my arms are locked out. I'm going to slingshot over his knees, put my head on the left with my ear in the pocket, and my shoulder is driving right into his belly button. From there, my knees come off the ground, and I just walk myself past. Try to avoid doing a big back step here, because this puts you off balance. It twists your hips and shoulders out of alignment, and it's more easier for you to be rolled over. Keep your hips and shoulders in alignment. From here, when I'm ready and I'm totally past his knees, I can release the grip on the right hand and carry on holding this grip here, because that'll keep control. I only really need this one hand to control his legs. And now this hand's free to start hunting to get control of his head by sliding it under his neck. And from there, your guard pass is 90% done. You need to choose how you want to lock it down and how you want to consolidate your sidebound position. That's up to you. That's the basic mechanics of the mermaid pass. And in the next part of the video, we're going to look at the sticking points and how to overcome them. So at this point, you've probably gone out and you've tried this and something's happened, it hasn't worked. And you're about to send me an email or message saying, hey Nick, that mermaid guard pass doesn't work. I'm guessing it's probably because of one of these 4 sticking points. This is what I struggled with on my road to turning this into a usable technique for myself. And I've got some options for all of these 4 sticking points. So let's have a look. The first thing is, obviously your neck is exposed because your hands are locked up here by his legs. So your neck is open to the classic loop choke here. Yeah? The way to avoid that from happening is to just do your little turtle movement. So shrug your shoulders up, tuck your chin in, and then no matter how good he is, if you're shrugging like that, he will not be able to get your neck. I promise you, do that, and he's not going to be able to get your neck. So that's the first sticking point. The next one is, sometimes this guy, what he'll do is, as you're doing this, before you can straighten your arms totally, he'll have been given a bit of space and he'll get an underhook over here. And we all know how powerful an underhook can be. Obviously, using this, what he can do is reverse me, right? He'll usually take a palm-to-palm grip over here and use that to flip me right over. Right now, when I get to this position, the thing to keep in mind is that the reason this guard pass is so powerful is that I have his feet off the ground and his knees together. So he cannot engage his feet. Even though he's on top, he's still losing this match because I can't engage my feet. So as long as I just am confident in the technique and I believe in it and I keep his knees together, I can take my time, switch my hips, and come back up and defeat it that way. The next sticking point is, sometimes I'll get to the start position here. Right, I'm setting this guard pass up. I'm trying to get this leg to stuff it in, and he'll keep this leg far away because I will have passed his guard a couple of times already with this technique, and he's getting a bit smarter. He's figuring it out. He's like, okay, I can't let him get the second foot, so he keeps it far away. In that case, very simple. I'm just going to switch my hands. This free hand is going to come and grab at his trouser and push his foot to the ground. Now I can release this one, reach for his collar, and I just switch to pass. Super sneaky, but super effective. In fact, that's the one I'm having the most success with because now my training partners are so used to me doing the classic pass, they keep that leg far away and they always fall for this second one. So just one more time, I'm here, he won't give me that second foot, he's hiding it far away. So I just switch, I control here, push his foot to the ground, this hand reaches for his collar, and I switch to pass and drag his leg across. And the last sticking point that, this was the one I had the most difficulty with, is when I got into this position with both of his legs laced up like this, I found that my wrists really started to hurt. I don't have the biggest, strongest wrists in the world, so you know, when I do a technique like this, I really have to focus on not allowing my wrist to get jacked up. So the secret is, I went back to Kevin and asked him about this, and he explained to me that you need to set your grips properly before you continue the technique. So once I get here, instead of rushing, I'm gonna take my time to keep adjusting until my wrists feel strong, until there's no pain or bend in my wrists. So I don't have my wrists like that, definitely not. That's what causes the pain when they're jammed up like that. I actually want to have them rolled all the way through like that. So I'll usually get here, I'll have these grips, and now he'll be attacking with the loop choke, wiggling. Doesn't matter, I just take my time, I keep adjusting until I feel my wrists are strong. Okay, they're ready. Then I go back, slingshot over, and continue into the technique. So those are the 4 main sticking points. And that is the Mermaid guard pass. I'm sure you guys are gonna have a lot of success with this if you implement those details. Until next time, train hard.